Hey, Fit Gamers Guild. This is Antonio, and I'm going to talk to you about how to lose 1 pound a week and keep it off. What do I need to do if I want to lose weight? I want to think of my results and my sustainability like a scale that I'm always trying to balance. If I go in all results, I'm not going to be able to keep it up, and I'm probably going to fail. I'll talk about that later. If I go all in on sustainability, I am just maintaining. That's probably what a lot of you are doing. You've been walking, eating salads, whatever, and you haven't been dropping enough weight, or you've been yo-yoing. And even if you don't call it that, that's maintenance. That's sustainability. You need to find that balance between constantly losing a pound a week, but also keeping up the habits that you can do long term. And there you go, sustainable weight loss. Oh, the balance scales. So what do I need to do? I need to understand firstly why my body's storing fat. It stores fat for one simple reason, and that's that I'm eating more calories than I'm using. It's stored energy. If I went a week without food, that stored energy would be super handy. But most of us spend our day sitting. Most of us aren't away from food for a week or more. We can't rely on exercise alone to burn off the body fat. And 1 pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. So if I want to lose 1 pound of body fat a week, I need to be in a deficit of 3,500 calories. Or rather, I need to be under my budget of calories by 500 per day. Hey, oh, that's why we count calories. I got it. How do I know how many calories to eat? Let's start with how many calories you burn on average in a day or a week. Let's just say a day, it's easier. There's three factors that influence your calorie expenditure. There is your base metabolic rate, there is your activities of daily living, and there's your specific exercise. A hack for you to skip all the math and find this number right now is to follow that link to see this page and put in all your stats, and booyah, it's going to give you the amount of calories you need to eat in a day to maintain your weight and recommended amounts for you to lose your weight. Just keep in mind that this is based on general data. Your numbers might be a little bit off, so test it out. Eat at maintenance, see if you gain or lose weight. If you do, add or subtract a couple hundred calories and see where that takes you. Truth bombs incoming. Truth number one. There is no magic eating pattern for weight loss. You can eat 7 meals a day. You can eat 1 meal every other day. What's going to work is how well you can adhere to your eating pattern, because that makes it sustainable if you can adhere to it. It's not going to make a difference for your results. If it doesn't affect fat loss in a meaningful way, then why bother with any of that? What's the best thing to do for sustainability? Just pick one, honestly, and try it out and just see what works best for you. If you like eating often, if you don't like eating very often, as long as it works for you. As long as you're in a caloric deficit, we'll lose weight. But if we're in a really big deficit, are we going to lose weight quicker? Here's the second thing, the second bomb, is that eating healthy foods doesn't mean you automatically lose weight. Eating healthy foods can be beneficial because they're high value and low calorie as opposed to processed foods. Think fruits and vegetables. And that could make it easier to lose weight because you feel full. But they will not help you to lose more weight if you are not in a deficit. You could eat all Twinkies in your diet, and as long as you're in a deficit, you would lose weight. You'd also lose muscle if you only eat Twinkies, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep the muscle you have, maybe even build a little, but why? Truth bomb number 3 is that not all weight loss is good. What if you're losing lean body mass? So what? Lean body mass is water, muscle, and bone. You want a higher percentage of your body weight to be lean body mass. If we lost lean body mass, I'm going off script here, and you retain all your body fat, you go from 30% body fat to 40% body fat, even if you lost 10 pounds, that wouldn't be good, right? You can probably see how that would be bad for you. Why do we want to retain lean body mass? Lean body mass is muscle, water, and bone. More muscle means that you're going to look better, but also your metabolism is going to be much higher. More water in your body means that you're going to have mental clarity, you're going to be able to focus better. You might have to pee more, that's okay. Bone density. People get older and they break their bones by falling. Simple little thing can break their bones. And that just happens because their bone density got low. And it can happen to you, I promise. You want to eat right so you retain bone density, but working out will also help you to retain bone density. Muscle increases your base metabolic rate, and you can burn more calories at rest and movement. Base metabolic rate is like if you turn your engine on, your car on, and it just sits in idle and you slowly burn gas. If you want to retain or gain muscle, I want a proper macronutrient distribution in my diet so I don't lose muscle. As in, I want to eat enough protein, and it helps if I work out just a little bit too. Don't worry, you're not going to get really bulky. You're not going to get gigantic muscle, man. That does not happen very easily. You're going to get toned. And the greater the deficit, the greater the chance of you losing muscle as you lose fat. By focusing on only losing fat, you'll have a smaller deficit, which will be more sustainable. You'll be less hungry. You won't need to work out as hard to lose calories. And really, we exercise for other reasons besides burning calories. You want to change the way you're measuring progress from weight loss to things like how your clothes are fitting and the actions you're taking. That's way more sustainable. What are the best methods of sustainability? I'm not going to cover them all, dude. If I was playing Skyrim and I wanted to tell you the best way to level up your character, that's going to take me all day if I showed you every single way you can play the game. So I'm going to cover the main ways that I can think of and that you can start with, followed by some actions you can take. By the way, if you like this stuff, I'm going to be that guy that asks you to leave a comment, leave a like. Even if it's hate, I'll take it. Now, how can I sustainably lose the weight? This is actually what you want. I know it is. This is why you're here. We don't want to just be told to eat less calories to lose weight because we know that. It's sticking to it that's the problem. There are results-driven plans all over the internet. You can look it up on Google and you'll find a bunch of different plans. All these plans can work. The problem is not that the results aren't there. The problem is that we can't stick to it. If it was that easy, everyone would have a six-pack. If that's not the case, we need to focus on the how. We need a results and sustainability-driven plan. This type of plan is harder to cookie cutter. I can't just tell you to do keto. I'm going to have to figure out your life. What's sustainable for you is often different than what's sustainable for me. Everything should be customized for you. So instead of trying to give you a cookie cutter plan that doesn't really work well for you, I want to share my top methods that have helped me transform a bunch of people's bodies over the last 4 years. Secret number one, I'm going to minimize your pain and maximize your pleasure. That sounds weird. We're human beings. We're going to always go towards fun things and away from painful things. If I'm playing a video game and on the other side of a pit of spikes, I can see a magic sword. I can try to jump on top of the spikes until I get to the sword, but if my character keeps dying and I can't figure it out, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's not fun. It's not something I can sustain and get the magic sword that way. If you're just seeing the thing and you just think, how do I get to the sword? That's really stupid, right? If you think that you can drink water upside down to lose weight and maybe it starts to work, but you can't sustain it, that's not going to work for you either. It's not sustainable because we're emotional. If you could keep jumping on the spikes with your video game forever without getting frustrated, eventually you might figure out how to do it. All right, all it takes is 1 out of 1,000,000 tries to get there. But you're going to get frustrated, and after 200 different tries, you're going to give up on doing that and maybe forget about the sword altogether, the magic sword in this video game that I'm making up in my head. If it gets to the point in your plan where it's more pain than pleasure, you're going to stop. We gained the weight back. We haven't done anything but waste our time and effort. You've wasted your time trying to get that sword. You need a better way to get to that magic sword. Sometimes you wait for the perfect time to start a plan. If you create a plan under perfect conditions and you wait for that perfect condition, you're avoiding stress. But guess what? Stress is always going to be there. It's a part of life. If your plan cannot deal with interruption, with stress, you're going to stop. So when you're creating your plan, start with actions that give you the lowest pain and the highest result. Another strategy, or a bonus strategy for you, is to think about all the stress in your life. If that's your base stress right now, and if your base stress is a 7 out of 10, you need to reduce your stress. You're not going to lose weight if you're stressed out. That's already one thing that's going against you, but you're not going to be able to sustain new healthy habits if you're stressed out. Get your life to be more chill, then you can go ahead and add more stuff to your life. Biggest impact is your stress level, I promise you. So here's some things you can try. You can also talk to someone about your stress and try to figure that out. But until you get that figured out, things are not going to work too well for you. Let's get your stress down. Secret number 2 is to reduce negative feedback and create positive feedback loops. Weighing yourself every day is an example of a negative feedback loop. You're doing everything right, you weigh yourself, you haven't lost weight, you start talking negatively to yourself, and you are punishing yourself. Instead of weighing yourself, think about your progress in the other things. I've talked about a little bit ago how your clothes are going to fit looser and how you're taking better actions and you're feeling better, and those are things that should make you feel good about what you're doing. Judge yourself based on your actions and not your daily or weekly results. One reason you might not be losing that weight, just as an off topic, is that maybe you're gaining muscle at the same time. Again, you're not going to get bulky, but if it's your first time working out or eating enough protein, you're going to get toned, and that's still building muscle. For a little bit, you might even out just because your lean tissue is growing at the same rate that your body fat is stripping off. That's, again, why your clothes are fitting looser. Don't you think you'd be more motivated to keep going if you notice your clothes were fitting better? Yes, because you're rewarding yourself with positive talk instead of punishing yourself. How do we create positive feedback loops with our clients? We're going to give them daily praise for their actions. We're going to reframe their thinking so they can be encouraged instead of discouraged with the result. We praise them on the Fit Gamers Guild group, raising their status within the tribe, because we're social creatures, and psychologically that tends to help us is to feel better about what we're doing based on the feedback of others. And then we help you to adopt these mindsets so that on your own you can create positive feedback loops without us, and you're sustainably keeping the weight off for the rest of your life. Secret number 3 is to play an infinite game, not a finite game. Minecraft creative mode is a perfect example. You're just making the world more fun and better. You keep finding reasons to go back and play that game. As opposed to trying to defeat the Ender Dragon, you min-max your character or your playthrough, and once you've done it a couple hundred times, right, all you can do is restart and beat the Ender Dragon again, and it stops being fun after a while. If I have helped anybody, I've helped them by getting them to think about this differently, by getting them to play an infinite game. So instead of trying to keep the 40 pounds off, you're trying to just keep them away forever. And it's not the same. You might think that it is, but if you win the game by losing 40 pounds, you're going to play aggressively, you're going to sacrifice, and you're going to rely on willpower to get there. You'll deal with the frustration of beating the Ender Dragon with just a bow and arrow if, that's supposed to be the min-max way, even though that might not be the most fun way for you. You'll get to the top of the mountain, and you're going to feel excited. But once you've gotten to the top of the mountain, you've lost that 40 pounds. Are you going to keep doing the same thing over and over? Are you always going to beat the Ender Dragon with a wooden bow and arrow? Probably not. You're going to go crazy. You're going to hate that. And then that's assuming if you don't quit. There's an interesting study that was done on the contestants of The Biggest Loser where a lot of them lost weight, but then they gained it all back. All those habits they picked up were not sustainable. If the habits are not sustainable for you, how are you going to keep the weight off for the rest of your life? And so that's what happened with them. If your goal is to sustain 40 pounds loss, you will only do things that help to keep the 40 pounds away. And you'll start thinking about this in terms of years, not just weeks and months. What's going to happen all of next year? You're going to have probably a family vacation, hopefully, or even just your own little vacation. You're going to have holidays, and you need to be ready for when your diet goes off the rails for just a little bit so that you can still keep that 40 pounds off. Like Phil. Phil gets to eat 960 calories a meal with spaghetti, pasta, ground beef. He doesn't always eat 960 calories per meal, but he can go off the rails once in a while. He can go off the rails again with sirloin steak and butter and cheese, and we can go to Chipotle, and we can get a high protein bowl and 850 calories. He's not always eating like this. What he's doing is keeping the weight off by managing his entire diet. He manages everything and he finds a balance. He's not stopping anytime soon because he enjoys the plan. He enjoys the progress he's made, and the pain to him is low now. Is this making sense? If it is, drop a comment, keep watching. If it's not, drop a comment and keep watching. This method is how you'll succeed, and you can do this forever. With this approach, you'll be less aggressive. You'll be thinking about creating habits and taking small steps, because this will have to be forever. You'll always be adjusting. No sane person is going to crank the dial up to 10 on pain if they knew they would be doing that for the rest of their life, unless they're into that sort of thing. You will lose the weight anyway, because the actions to sustain the weight loss are the same as the actions to lose the weight loss, and vice versa. Doesn't it make sense to lose the weight with the same approach to sustain it? The other way around, when you're going really aggressive, doesn't work. And if it does work, it doesn't work in the long run. Well, you're thinking, I think I'm ready. I know I'm ready. This makes sense. I don't know how to get going again. You need to break inertia. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, nothing's going to change. You need to find something to get you going. Use all the tools you can find to help you break that inertia. Podcasts are a great way to help change your thinking. I have one called Anyone Can Attain Fitness. You can get a positive spin on things. You can learn new tips and gain new insights as to how to transform your body using no extra time. You can drive to work, you can do chores, you can go for your walk and just listen to it. Link in the comment section for that. You can get a group of friends and like-minded people that are pursuing the same goal, like the Fit Gamers Guild. When you are around those kinds of people, it helps you to stay on track and deal with difficulties. The last thing is to get clear on your goals and on your path to get there. Write your goals down. If you think of your mind as a heat-seeking missile, the more you can tell it exactly where to go, the easier it's going to get you there. I'll have an episode on goal creation soon. Bonus is to get a coach. You don't have to do it alone. And if you were certain this was the last time you had to start this journey, I'm sure you'd be more willing to invest in yourself. A coach is not required to make this change happen forever, but it does make it easier, faster, and allow you to avoid ups and downs. If you get the right one, they'll guarantee you results for life. That's me. You may be thinking, that's great and all. How can I make my nutrition more sustainable? Here are 3 actionable strategies you can do to make your nutrition more sustainable from day one. Include your favorite foods. I'm going to talk about deprivation in a second. But you should still be able to eat all your favorite foods while adhering to the science of weight loss. You just have to balance it properly. There's about 10% of your meals can be not so optimal foods. Just don't eat like a competitive eater when you are eating those bad foods. If we can focus on increasing pleasure and decreasing pain, you won't have that inner voice telling you, oh, you got to have this. It's just one bite. It's just one bite. You won't have to cheat on your meals. It'll work out for you. You'll have peace of mind around food, maybe for the first time in your life. You want to choose an eating style that fits your life. Again, it doesn't matter what eating style you do, as long as you can adhere to the science of weight loss and you can adhere to the plan itself. So I mentioned all these, but you can also adhere to other styles, like just the type of diet, like Atkins, keto, whatever, paleo. Use the eating style that's easiest for you. Give yourself permission to adapt to new changes in your life. If you used to work a 9 to 5 and now you're working a 3 by 13, it's okay to change your eating style as long as it keeps you in sustainable weight loss. Perfection is impossible. Throw that crap out the window. It does not serve you. It only limits you. I tell my clients all the time, you can lose weight sitting on your computer all day, playing games all day. The great news is there's nothing special between the people that do and the people that don't adapt. They've just adopted new beliefs around food and weight loss. They've changed their mindset. Third thing is protein first. If you really want a simple way to approach nutrition, simply focus on getting your protein first. Protein keeps you fuller for longer, and it will help you retain muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. Simplest thing to do is take your goal weight, multiply it by 0.75. That's your protein in grams per day. Then you just fill in the rest with carbs and fats. So if I weigh 200 pounds, or if I want to weigh 200 pounds, I'm going to eat 150 grams of protein a day. An extra bit or an extra tip for you. An extra tip for you is to eat more carbs and fats because it's less calories per gram of carb than it is per gram of fat, and so you'll feel fuller for longer. Compare that with drinking half of your body weight in water per day in ounces. Like if I want to weigh 200 pounds, I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water per day, and I'll naturally cut anywhere from 15 to 30% of my calories, and that will put me in a deficit to lose weight. Closing notes, you can absolutely look at this cat. This cat was put in a calorie deficit and lost weight. This is Phil again. Phil lost weight. Okay, he embodied the principles I went over. He lost 60 pounds and sustained the weight loss for 4+ years. None of these people were special either. All they did was adhere to the science. They went ahead and adopted new lifestyle habits, and they started eating better, believing in themselves, and constantly engaging in new habits. This changed their life. So you don't need a coach. Use everything on this group, and you will get there. If you want to move faster, have less ups and downs, and want lifetime sustainable guarantees of your success, shoot me a DM, Fit Gamer, and we'll see if we can help you with one-on-one coaching. The best is yet to come. I believe in you. You can do this. Bye-bye now.